Hello, and welcome to Investigative Math. In today's number sense video, we'll be going over the 2019-2020 kickoff tests, problems 1 through 10. So let's get to it. Keep in mind, every trick used in this video will be explained in more depth in videos that I've linked in the description. So, for our first question, we have 2019 plus 2020 plus 2021 plus 2022. It may be pretty obvious, but each of these numbers are one more than the previous. So to get from 2019 to 2020, you add 1. 2020 to 2021, you add another 1. And then same for these two. When you have a sequence like this, where to get the next number you add a constant, this is called an arithmetic sequence. Arithmetic sequence. Now, this either comes as the sum of an even number of terms or an odd number of terms. Now, whenever you have an even number of terms, you take the sum of the middle two, in this case 2020 plus 2021, which is 41, and then multiply by half the numbers in your sequence. So there are 4 numbers in our sequence. Half of that is 2, and so we multiply 41 by 2. 41 times 2 is 8,082. So the sum of those numbers, 2019 all the way to 2022, is 8,082. Again, this trick is explained in more detail in a video that I've linked in the description. Alright, for our second question, we have 83 times 3. Now this is just basic multiplication. First we multiply our ones digits. 3 times 3 is 9. We don't have any carry, so we can do 3 times 8, which is 24. So 83 times 3 is 249. If this is a little bit confusing, you can see that this is true based on just regular column multiplication. So our first step would be to multiply these two. That's 9. And since we don't have any carry, we do 3 times 8, which is 24. So 83 times 3 is 249. Now, for our next question, we have 3,514 divided by 7. So, again, this is just dividing like normal. 7 won't go into 3, so we have to see if 7 will go into 35. 7 goes into 35 exactly 5 times with no remainder. So we have a 0, and when we bring down our 1, we see that 7 does not go into 1. So we have a 0. For our next step, bring down this 4, since 7 did not go into 1, and 7 goes into 14 2 times. To see this a little bit more clearly, I'll set up just a traditional division. So 7 does not go into 3. 7, however, does go into 35 5 times. And so we multiply these two. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract these, you get 0. And bring down your 1. Now 7 does not go into 1, so we have to write a 0 because it goes in 0 times. 7 times 0 is 0, and 1 minus 0 is 1. Then bring down your 4, and 7 goes into 14 2 times. So 3,514 divided by 7 is 502. Okay, for our next question, number 4, we have 28 times 25. Now, for any trick where you're multiplying by 25, you take the other number, or 28, did I say trick? I meant anytime you're multiplying a number by 25, you take the other number, in this case 28, divide it by 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. Then you take that and multiply by 100. So 28 times 25 is just 700. That one's pretty easy. Alright, for our next problem, we have 83 times 12. Okay, so for this, we're going to use something called the teens trick. So first, you take your ones digit, and you multiply by 2. It's 2 because this is 12. If this was multiplied by 13, we would be multiplying by 3. Now, we take this 3 multiplied by 2, you get 6. Now, moving down the line, we take this 8, and instead we multiply that by 2. 8 times 2 is 16, and then we're going to add back the 3. So think of it as double and add. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 3 is 19. So we write our 9 and carry a 1. Next, if you move down the line again, you get a 0. So that's going to be 2 times 0 plus 8, or just 8. Plus our carried 1 is 9. So 83 times 12 is 996. Okay, for our next question, we have 81,723 divided by 11, and they want you to find the remainder. Now, this may seem pretty daunting, but again, there's a pretty easy trick that you can do. So, first, you take your 3, then you want to alternate between subtracting and adding. So first you're going to do 3 minus 2, which is 1, and then you're going to add 7, then subtract 1, and then add 8. So basically, you start at this beginning number, this 3, and then moving from right to left, just alternate between subtracting and adding. Here. So you do 3 minus 2 plus 7 minus 1, and then plus 8. 3 minus 2 is 1, plus 7 is 8, minus 1 is 7, plus 8 is 15. Now, this doesn't give you an exact answer because obviously if you're dividing by 11, you can't have a remainder of 15. So instead, you find the remainder when 15 is divided by 11, which is obviously 4. Okay, next question, we have 19 times 11. So, first step is to just write the ones digit. This is for any time you're multiplying a number by 11. So first you write the ones digit, which is 9. Then you move from right to left, adding in groups of 2 until you can't anymore. So 1 plus 9 is 10. So we write our 0 and carry a 1. Now, we don't have any more groups of 2. Well, we kind of do if you consider this as a 0 over here. So you can either think of it as adding the 0 and the 1, or as just using this 1 on the left. But we don't actually use the 1 on the left because we have to carry. So 209. 19 times 11 is 209. To clarify that, I know that might have been a little bit confusing. First, you write the ones digit, which is 9. Then you add in groups of 2, moving from right to left until you can't anymore. So our only group of 2 here is just the 9 and the 1, which will give you 10. So you write a 0 and carry a 1. Next, we just have the leftmost digit. You can think of it as having 0 right here, and doing 0 plus 1, that technically counts as a group of 2. So you do 0 plus 1, which is 1, plus your carried 1 will give you a 2. So 19 times 11 is 209. Again, I think I've said this, but more clarifications for these tricks will be found in the description of this video, so check those out. Now, for number 8, there are a few perfect squares you probably want to memorize for the number sense test. For beginners, I would recommend 1 through 25, and then as you progress, maybe 1 through 30, and then for more advanced, 1 through 40. There are also tricks for squaring any number from 41 to 59. I will also link that in the description. But 12 squared is best just memorized to be 144. Okay, for our next question, number 9. We have 4/7 multiplied by 140. So, to do this question, we have to take advantage of the fact that multiplication is commutative. Basically, what that means is that 2 times 3 is going to be the same thing as 3 times 2. You can flip them around, and you're going to get the same value. So, what I'm going to do is instead of doing 4 over 7 times 140, I want you to do 140 over 7 times 4. Because think of this like a fraction. If we have 4/7 times 140, that's the same thing as 4/7 times 140 over 1. So instead of doing 4 times 140, I'm doing 140 times 4. 140 divided by 7 will give you 20, and then when you multiply that by 4, you get 80. This process is also known as canceling. If you have a common factor, either in the numerator or the denominator, they have to have the same common factor, in this case 7. You can cancel these. So basically, take all the common factors out of both of them. So this 7 has a common factor with 140 in 7. So we can divide both of these numbers by 7. So that's 4 multiplied by 140 over 7, which is 20. And 4 times 20 is 80. So 4/7 times 140 is going to give you 80. Okay, for number 10, you may notice that we have a little asterisk over here. All that means is that this is what we call an estimation problem. Basically, you have to be within plus or minus 5% of the true answer. These are often the most missed questions because, well, we don't really learn to estimate that well anymore. So I recommend practicing these a lot. Anyway, to do this, I recommend just rounding. So maybe round that to 50, round this to 280, and round that to 2570. All these have a 0 at the end. So I'm going to have a 0 over here, because when we add the ones places, they're going to add up to be 0. Now, this 5 plus, if we add the tens digits, we have 5 plus 8 plus 7, which is going to give you 20. So we have 0, carry a 2. And then add the hundreds digits, 7 plus 2 is 9, plus the 5 is 14, plus our carried 2 is 16. So we write a 6 and carry a 1. And then when we add our thousands digit, we only have one thousands digit in the 2. So 2 plus our carried 1 is going to give us 3. Now, let me double check this is in the appropriate range. And yes, it is. The real answer is 3598. Now, with this being within a plus or minus 5%, on the answer key, it's going to show up as a range. So the lower end of this range will be 3418, and the high end of this range will be 3778. Okay, so that's it. That's kickoff 2019-2020 problems 1 through 10. Keep in mind, all of the tricks that I use in this video are linked in the video description, so check those out. If you still have any questions after watching those videos, make sure to comment them below. If you liked this video and you learned something, or any of those good things, make sure to leave a like. If you really loved it, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you later.